Hello and welcome to the Talk with Tariro. Today on the show we were looking at an issue. We do know that we are fast approaching December, which is World AIDS Day, where the whole world will actually be commemorating the strides that we have made when it comes to issues of HIV and AIDS. And starting October, we do know October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We are going to be looking at those issues until we hit December. And we are back again with our theme that we always get back to, the issue of HIV and AIDS. And today we are looking at children and HIV. And helping us to dissect that subject, we have Eunice Kapandura. Eunice is the Executive Director of Childhood HIV and AIDS Zimbabwe. Welcome to the talk.
Thank you very much for having me, Mrs. Tari.
Yes. When we are talking about children and HIV and AIDS, why even talk about it? What are the key issues that affect children when it comes to HIV and AIDS?
From the time HIV was part of the Zimbabwean history, a lot of interventions were made. People came up with programs, came up with activities, until we realized that there was a missing link of children that were being born with HIV and children who were missing out on their key responsibilities in school, like their day-to-day lives because of the virus. So we needed to respond. So one of our partner organizations, Elizabeth Glaser Pediatric AIDS Foundation, did a research, and the latest research came in 2019, where we realized that out of 1.3 million that are living with HIV in Zimbabwe, 84,000 of them are children that are below the age of 15. So that's a concern, because 84,000 is not a small number.
It's huge.
And it's only those who have access to a healthcare facility.
Exactly.
What about those that do not even believe in getting their children testing or do not have access to prevention of mother-to-child transmission? So we really have to stand up and open that door for many people as much as possible.
So you're opening that door, doing what? How are you then intervening?
We are complementing the government of Zimbabwe. In my organization, we are particularly doing psychosocial support, where we work with children who are orphaned by HIV, children who are living with HIV even if they have both parents, children who are exposed, those who were born from parents who have HIV. So we do training, like self-awareness, we do advocacy, like now we're doing advocacy. We do a lot of psychosocial support activities, camp outs, ongoing counseling, exchange visits, because we know they have issues just like all children have issues. You know, children are children, they are not young adults. So they have things that they think limit them. And you can just imagine a child who discovers they were born with HIV maybe at the age of 17 and they are virgin, they've never, you know, so it's a turmoil on their mental journey, mental health journey. So they need a lot of support from school, home, and the community in general.
Let's start, Eunice, on you've spoken about how mental health links to this, where a child might discover that they're actually HIV positive later in life. One issue that we've had when talking to mothers is the lack of confidence in them disclosing to their children that you were born with HIV.
Because of how HIV is perceived by millions of people. Apart from PMTCT, accidental blood transfusions, most of HIV infections come through unprotected sexual intercourse. So that gives it that kind of shame to say you got a disease that is gotten when people are supposed to be in their most private spaces. So for a mother to just process it as an individual, to say, especially, you know, our kind of mothers that, you know, you from being a teenager, you're married, you know one man until you die. So just imagining, but I was faithful throughout my life.
But looking at now, I'm thinking we have reached a stage where almost everybody in globally or majority now understand how HIV is transmitted, and why we actually don't need to continue blaming the parent, blaming somebody who is actually HIV positive.
Yes, but there are people who refuse to be part of communities. Yeah. People who refuse to uptake those things. Up to now, we have clients who buy their medications even if the government is providing for free, because they do not want to be associated with the support that comes with the clinic where you're checked. How are you progressing? Are you having new infections? All those. They just want to buy like they're buying a chocolate in a shop. Yeah. So it's a matter of knowledge, attitudes, and perceptions. Yes. And people also value their religious beliefs, community status, and all those things before they even consider the children. Yeah. And unfortunately, because children, they always need somebody to do something for them. Yeah. It's the mother's will for a child to be admitted into a hospital. It's a mother's will for a child to be admitted in a school. It's a mother's will for everything. So it then becomes a very painful condition for children who have those kind of parents. Yeah. But I should commend the adverts. The people now know, like you're saying, HIV is no longer a killer disease. It's been removed from. Yeah. But still, there is this issue of physical appearance. Yeah. For most children, they have some limited information on how to deal with maybe skin diseases. Some have suboptimal growth. Yeah. Some grow very well. But for those that do not grow, and those who are also affected by the virus in their mind, they may not be able to have the motor skills. Yeah. And you think, what is wrong with me? Yeah. All my siblings are academically gifted, but I can't even write my name. HIV does that because it penetrates the bone marrow, it penetrates the brain, it penetrates, so it's a disease that is highly dependent on mental stability. Yeah, that's our discussion where we are looking at the issue of our children and HIV. From what Eunice is saying, as much as we are more than 30 years into the epidemic, we are still witnessing cases of stigma around HIV. We are still witnessing even fear of disclosure around HIV. And if adults do face those issues, what more of children? After the break, we will tackle more in terms of the challenges that children actually face on their own on dealing with HIV. Join us after this short break. Welcome back. Our discussion on children and HIV continues. Eunice, I want to find out from you, where exactly do you come in? How do you identify the children? Is it the parents who actually come to you and say, I'm finding it difficult to disclose to my child, so can you deal with them, where you then come in with your psychosocial support, or you have a way of actually dealing with the children, and you start from what age? Okay. As of me, okay, besides childhood HIV and AIDS Zimbabwe, the name Eunice, I started being involved in HIV and AIDS work more than 20 years ago when we had the center. The center was an organization that was specifically there to support people living with HIV. So I would see clients coming, the parents are getting treatment, but you realize that the child is also sick. Back then there was no treatment for children. I remember at one time, I think 2002, people would actually break their medicines to share with their children. And when the treatment came, it was so bitter that the children could not take it. So those children who we managed to provide counseling to and say, you have to be on this treatment to survive, ended up actually hiding those medicines because they were not tasty. But now we're grateful for global interventions. We moved from having parents having to break their medicines for children to having like kind of tasty and colorful pediatric formulations. And even the medicines, they are now like presenting themselves in smaller packages and colorful packages. So children are attracted by pictures. That's why in creches we decorate and what. So back then, it was tough. So that referral path, people just know, okay, if you want to have a conversation about where we are going, who will know where to find what, okay, Eunice will know who is in Shavani providing support to children living with HIV.
Yeah.
So that's generally how we grow. And now there are so many organizations. I remember some 19 years ago when we were still at the center, AfriCaid was born. And you see AfriCaid today, then it was just Connaught Clinic for adults that were taking ARVs.
Yeah.
But then when we said, okay, I remember I personally asked my director, Lynn Francis, then say, you know, I love children.
Yes.
Can we not have a group for these people? And she was like, but what issues? What are you going to tell them?
Yeah.
We have no treatment. Even in the States that time, they did not have pediatric formulations.
Yeah.
So I remember, you know, we were discussing, we're doing the support groups, just reading Ryan White's story, how he managed to survive and then died at a young age, before the age of 18. So those were the kind of support systems then. But now we have children who are accessing treatment from partners like AfriCaid and even the government, but then they don't belong. Like I was telling you, that she will realize, okay, we are 5, but all my siblings can push up to get 5 O levels. What's wrong with me?
Yeah.
And no one can answer that. I'm now in my teenage years. I need to find a partner. How will I tell them I'm infected with this disease and I'm a virgin? Okay, if they agree to all that, am I going to have a child that does not have HIV? How faithful is this PMTCT procedure for me, a person who was born with the virus already? So those are the issues, and you find a lot of, especially the adolescents, they develop treatment fatigue because all their life they know every day I'm taking tablets at a certain time.
Yeah.
So the mental support becomes very crucial in telling them that they should never tire. They should always take their medications, come what may.
Yeah.
So we have had cases of them, you know, turning to religious leaders who say, you know, you don't have enough faith in God if you still take those medications. And being young people, they have this desire of being independent. They have this desire of finding life for themselves. They
stop taking ARVs.
And we have near fatal, and we have even lost some of the children through that, because it's not everybody who can survive after they've defaulted their treatment. Some they default and they're gone.
So at what age do you start working with them?
At the age of 3, as long as they're able to communicate. Yes.
So who comes to you? Do the children come to you, or you are working with the mothers where you are saying, we would want to actually help you in
now
dealing with the children?
We work with the local community clinics.
Yeah.
So when the mothers come for antenatal classes, obviously the health service providers would know that this child has this, so they will refer.
Yeah.
And people themselves, like through organizations like Zimbabwe National Network of People Living with HIV, anyone who has a child with that condition, they will like, you know what, go to Chaz.
Yes.
You know, go to AfriCaid if you need treatment, go to Pari if you need treatment. But if your child needs this, so it's a whole networking zone. National AIDS Council, being our coordinating body, always, you know, writes up, okay, this one is doing this and this one is doing this.
So when you are looking at it, would you then say children are actually now, maybe before even getting to that, when we have 84,000, like what you said, that out of the 1.3 million who are HIV positive, 84,000 are actually children. And we are talking about our PMTCT program being successful. Are we still missing the mark, or we are actually on the right course in terms of ensuring children are actually delivered HIV negative?
We missed the target, the phases around 2005 to 2012, where we were really looking up to the needs of people living with HIV. People just didn't know what to do with children. Yes. But yes, I agree. Now we can safely say we have successfully rolled out PMTCT throughout Zimbabwe, and I think our success rate is now like 74%.
Not 90s. I thought we were in the 90s.
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
So I will have to verify that. So even if we are in the 90s, then we have succeeded.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now we have these children who were born already.
Who are
they
there.
cannot be undone. Yeah, they still need the support.
Yeah.
And even those that went through PMTCT, they have loads of issues.
Yeah.
Because treatment is treatment.
Yeah.
It has effects on a child, just like when you drink when you're pregnant, when you take alcohol when you're pregnant, when you take any medications when you're pregnant, it affects the fetus.
Yeah.
So they still need support.
Indeed, children with HIV still need our support. Our discussion continues after the break. Welcome back. Our discussion with Eunice Kapandura continues. We are looking at children and HIV and AIDS. Eunice, one thing that young people grapple with, you spoke about the issue of treatment. Treatment is a challenge. I'm looking at young people going to boarding school. They need to be taking medication. Yes, we have done a lot to do away with stigma, but stigma is still there. How are they dealing with the issue of making sure they adhere to treatment, but there is also stigma within the school system? Children being children, and sometimes children can also have time to play, and with HIV medication, we do know if it's 8 o'clock, it has to be 8 o'clock every day. But young people sometimes can get carried away. How do you ensure that young people actually adhere to their treatment and deal with the stigma also that comes with taking HIV medication?
In terms of stigma that comes with taking medication, there are two types of children who are infected by HIV. There are children who have accessed extra services apart from the treatment.
Yeah.
We are talking of children, former members of the Champions. You remember the Champions group, where they can actually teach you. They've become expert patients in their medications. They even know what is in their own formulations. So those children will actually tell the matron or the master, say, you know what, this is 7 o'clock. I'm leaving this homework and whatever we are supposed to be doing because I need my treatment.
Yeah.
So I can say those are in a safe mode. Then we have children who have parents who have never allowed them to join these groups, because these groups are loud. Because if you meet a former champion, if you meet a former other center, if you meet an African child, Zandiri child today, you have a lot to learn from them. They have made peace with their living condition, and they are so comfortable sharing information about their treatment.
And so, those who are not now, they are our concern. Yeah.
Yes, those are the ones that we then even called. Sometimes you're called to Pari Hospital, say this child is admitted, but we are seeing it's mostly stress-related diseases. So you need to provide therapy while they're admitted.
Yeah.
So it goes back to the home setting, the family background. How far has the parent managed to have a conversation with the child about their condition? And it's a big predicament for us, because at the end of the day, as much as it is in the best interest of the child to tell her about their status, we always respect the family unit. If the parents say, no, don't tell my child, we can't because we are not like they are violating these physical rights, or that we can say we are taking the child away from you is social warfare. No, it's their family decision. So
how would you then suggest that maybe we make schools HIV friendly?
Yes.
What needs to be done to actually ensure that that stigma is actually not there?
There are a few schools that have managed to cascade HIV in the school setup, but the results always come back to that energy among young people, where they, it's normal for young people to just bully you for wearing this lousy shirt.
Yes.
whether you have whatever, or you know, the way you styled your hair. Yeah. So we have most schools have HIV and AIDS clubs, but having a treatment action club, we are yet to really achieve that, because most school development associations choose what they want, and for most parents, because they want to paint this HIV negative community, they will be in the SGC, but they will not say let's have this, even if they know it. Even if you go to the school and say let's have children talk about this, what, because parents know if my child is introduced to this and she's taking medicines at home, then I'm kind of exposed. People don't want to be known that they are. Some people, not everybody.
If there's a young person who's actually watching you now and is having mental health issues related to them being HIV positive, what message would we give to them?
You are in a special condition that gives you the power to change communities, to change your future. All you need to do is broaden your scope by reading, by watching channels that are related to your condition, and the sky is the limit. Get support from your parents, from us, from the community at large. Never give up on life. And the issue of young people starting relationships, they are born with HIV. But we do know there are quite a number of challenges that are faced when you then want to have a relationship, deciding to even get married later on. How do you address that, and what key message would you then say this is the message that should go to young people as well as to families? Yeah, consider couple counseling, because we believe therapy.
Couple when I'm still 15. You know, young people are start dating at 12, 13. Yeah.
Oh, but when you are dating at that age, you don't even need to share your status with the person. Okay, being HIV positive should not be a burden to you as a young person. Be free. Do everything that other young people are doing, but know your responsibilities when it comes to issues of intimacy, issues of maybe choosing to settle. But otherwise, go for coffees, go for movie nights, and be like any other, because HIV is not transmitted by association. So just be yourself. Easier
said than done. Just be yourself. We've heard a lot of young people saying, the moment I disclose, you have said sometimes you don't need to disclose.
Yes.
Young people, when they disclose, they always say the relationship ends.
Because they would have disclosed to somebody who was not prepared for that conversation. That's why I'm saying, unless you feel that now we want to move to the next level.
So what is the responsibility that is attached with intimacy that you spoke about before you then become intimate with somebody?
You are supposed to tell them of your HIV status, because besides it being discriminalized, because initially it was a criminal offense to have sex with somebody without protection while you know that you're HIV positive. Now it is no longer a criminal offense, but the guilt will haunt you for the rest of your life, because karma knows each and every address. So you may say, no, because the police won't know. But if you really have made someone live with a burden because of something you could have avoided, I don't know how you're going to live with yourself for the rest of your life.
In 30 seconds, what is your message to Zimbabweans regarding the issue of children and HIV?
We still have a lot to do. We have children who are missing out on treatment due to religious beliefs, children from polygamous marriages, children who are working as sex workers. We need to come up and face HIV in the face if we want to have an AIDS-free generation.
Indeed, an HIV-free generation is possible. What we need to do is we need a concerted effort. We need to work together to ensure that when we are talking about ending AIDS by 2030, that becomes a reality. Until next week, it's goodbye.